Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. So for today's video, let me see if I can get my notepad here. We're going to be answering a question by Jason. Sorry guys, I just woke up and I wanted to get this video out there because I want to try and do videos in a timely manner when someone asks. So if you have a question on anything, please go ahead and leave a comment and I'll try and do a video response on it. Maybe go in details about it and so forth. So let's get started. So Jason asked, what do I do for a living to silver stack? So okay, before we really answer that question, some people might not know what silver stacking is. So silver stacking is basically the same concept of any other stacking. So when you're stacking, you're setting things, on top of each other, and you're stacking and stacking and see how high you can get. Silver stacking is collecting silver bullion or junk silver, or some people do sterling silver. So silver is in the ground like gold, copper, iron, tin, and so forth. And when it's mined, it's separated and it's produced into industrial use, medical use, and so many variations of its use. Well, there's a big group of people, and I mean big, that are into silver stacking. It's where you collect silver for many reasons. For the fact of to hedge against the dollar, because paper burns. Silver and gold has been tested for a lifetime. People stack it to try and make a profit. They buy it when it's lower. They wait, sometimes 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and then sell it for a big profit. Some people just simply do it for a hobby, for fun. Whatever the reason is, people do it. Well, I was dating this girl. Oh goodness. Back in, I don't even remember when, 2007 I started dating her. I don't know, something like that maybe. I'm getting old. And her grandfather was big into collecting gold. I don't know if he was into silver or anything. All I remember, he loved buying gold. He was doing it ever since he was a little boy. In a sense, he was a prepper, I believe. He stored gas and had a bunker in a way. I don't really remember too much. I didn't really get too much involved, but what I do remember is he collected gold. So I looked it up one time and it looked interesting. I did some research on it, so I started buying silver. My first ounce of silver I bought was $14.60, and I remember a lot of people back then were telling me, oh, you're stupid. What a waste of money. Why are you buying hunk of metal? Blah, blah, blah. Well, I kept doing it as I had money. I kept buying and buying and buying and buying. And eventually, I had a decent amount of silver stored up. And by the time I had a decent amount of silver stored up, the price went from $14.60 up to, I think, almost $50 an ounce. So $14.60 an ounce to almost $50 an ounce. Now, I didn't sell my silver at $50 an ounce. I think I sold it around $46 to $48 an ounce, and I made some good money. Well, like everybody, like the humans that we do, we don't repeat the process normally, so the money I made kind of fiddled away with vehicles and stuff like that. But then I slowly got back into silver stacking. Now, my philosophy is, and I've been saying this for many years, is if you can get silver for $25 an ounce or less, buy. That's always been my philosophy. And now it came down to, I'm not sure what the low was recently, but it did come down to, I think, like 15, 14, 13. Did it go to 12 or 11? It might have, and I'll explain why I don't follow it as close as I used to. So, I was buying. I started buying probably in the 30s again, and then 20s and the teens, and to bring my average down. Because let's say you buy it for $30 an ounce, and you have 10 ounces, and then it's down to $20 and you buy 50 ounces at 20, you're bringing your average, your cost average down, and that's, you know, what you want to do if you're collecting anything like that. So I did that, and it had a spike here recently, so I sold some out again that I had collected. Now, I don't collect like I used to, and here's why. I still collect, and I still stack, and don't worry, Jason, I'm getting to the question. I still stack silver, but I came to realize this. What good is a pile of silver if you don't have the means to defend it or the means to survive to even sell it or trade it? So I started just recently, this past week, I started getting into prepping. So probably 2 months ago, I got into solar, and you know, I created a solar system that is self-sustainable, that can create enough watts that, you know, we can run 1500 watt appliance that we need if we have to. So with my solar system, and I'm sure you guys have seen it, we can you know, do all the things, charge your phones, watch TV, play a gaming system, whatever we want to do with the solar without, you know, if our grid goes down for whatever reason. So right now I'm kind of putting the silver collecting on hold a little bit because, one, I want to prep. We already got the solar half down. You know, I'd like to add more and more and more to the solar system so it lasts longer and we can do more stuff with it. But we've got the base of the solar system down, so I'm pausing on that aspect right now. And now I'm focusing on food. So if you don't have food storage, what are you going to do? If you don't have food to survive, you know, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year, well, what good is that? Sure, if you have silver, you could go and try and barter with people, but silver's only going to be barteringable. That's probably not even a word. I'm sure it's not. But it's going to be harder because the person that you're bartering with is going to have to want the silver and have excess amount of food that they can do that. But in that case scenario, the food's going to be worth more than your silver because you don't need the silver to live, but you need the food to live. So you're going to be giving more silver for less food than the silver's even worth. Now, I do believe strongly in silver. So keep in mind, I still strongly believe that that should be part of your basket. But you need to get a solar system set up, or if you don't have solar, well, if you don't have solar, you should have a cabin in the woods somewhere, but then that cabin should have solar. So either way, I think you need solar. You need to be non-dependent on the grid. Maybe not full out solar where you don't need the grid at all, but at least enough solar that if something happened for a couple days or a week or whatever, you're prepared and you have the electricity. So moving on from that, solar I think is #1 to look into, and you don't have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars. You can do a do-it-yourself kit like I did. You know, I have 4 batteries, 4 solar panels, and we can run basically what we have to. Obviously our fridge and freezer and stuff is downstairs, and this is for only upstairs, but it's portable, and that's a whole nother story. So solar, then food and water at the same time. Food and water needs to be a big thing, a part of your planning, and also guns and ammo. I hate to say it because a lot of people don't like guns, but you're going to need to defend your silver, your food, your water, and your system. If you can't defend yourself, what good are you? Then you might as well take all that you collected and join somebody else that has enough defense. And that's normally what would happen in that scenario. Okay, Jason, I'm sorry for holding you on this long, so I'm going to answer your question now, and then continue what I was saying. I wasn't planning on this being that long. So, what do I do for a living to silver stack? Well, for one, I trade in the stock market. This is something a lot of people do not know about me, that I day trade and also buy and then sell for a higher price in the stock market to make extra money. I have a normal job where I make money, and I make money on YouTube and Amazon to make money, and then sometimes I sell stuff that I have, personal stuff, you know, that's, to be quite honest, really ain't worth anything if things got bad. So I sell that on eBay, and then I use that money to silver stack. So I do still silver stack every month. I just really scaled it back because now I'm focusing on food, water, and then it's going to be ammo and guns and weapons and all the prepping stuff out there. I'll have a link in my video description of my prepping list. If anyone wants to look at it for their own reference, you guys can. So that's where I'm at now. With all that being said, you know, I'm just getting into this stuff, so there's a lot to learn, and that's why I created a YouTube channel called The In-Town Millennial Prepper. So I have a YouTube channel where I'm going to be doing prepping stuff, and I'll be showing my video haul, my silver hauls and silver and gold and stuff that I buy, and all that stuff will go on that channel for everyone to see. But yeah, I hope, you know, I know I went more in detail, but I kind of had to go in detail on it because I don't do as much as I used to. You know, before I used to put every cent that I had left over after bills into silver, which was great at the time. But now I'm married, I have a house, you know, I got a wife to look after, and the silver you can barter, but food, you need food and water to get you to the bartering point in life, because when things hit the fan, people are not just going to go barter with silver the next day. Or, well, they probably will, but people are going to be more focused on food. You know, someone comes to me and says, hey, if you give me a day's worth of food, I'll give you 300 ounces of silver. I'm going to look at them and say, I got to think about that, and I'm probably not going to do it. And you might think to yourself, why wouldn't you do it? Because it depends on my food storage. If I got food storage for 7 years, that's going to last me 7 years, I'll do it in a heartbeat. But right now, you know, a lot of people don't have, most people don't have more than 2 to 3 months of food. Now, let me put this in perspective a little bit. So, I have, as we speak, and the videos will be coming up on my prepping channel, I have 52,000 calories worth of food. You might think, well, that's a lot of calories. Well, no. 53,000 calories can last one person about 25 days. That's a long time. That's almost a month. That's one person. You split that 25 days into 2 people, my wife and I. Now we're down to 12 and a half days. My wife and I have 12 and a half days of food to last us. Now, that's not food that's in the refrigerator or the freezer or our cupboards and whatnot. Obviously, you know, you're stocked up with whatever you're stocked up with, you know, for month-to-month basis. For me and my wife, we shop once a month, and we have whatever we have for that. So we can go a little longer than that, obviously. But for long-term food storage, and I'm talking 5+ year shelf life, we have 12 and a half days. And you know how much water storage we have? Right now, at this moment, we have no water storage. We are relying on our tap water. So if they shut the water off for some reason or whatever, there we go. But we do live like a half a mile, maybe less, right near a creek. We gotta get water, we can. But what do you do if you can't boil the water? Oh no! What if the power's out and the water's turned off? You gotta go and get water by hand. Well, you're gonna need to defend yourself if you're going down there getting water. You never know. This world is full of creeps. Now, obviously, these are scenarios that may never happen, could happen. Nobody knows the future. That's why it's called prepping. You're prepping for the future. So, I'm working on getting sponsorships and getting stuff with prepping items, and I'm starting, my whole basement is going to be dedicated for prepping and a little workout area and so forth, but setting up prepping tables and stuff, that way we are at least somewhat prepared. So that's my answer. It was a long answer. I was planning on a 2-minute video, but when I get talking about stuff, yeah. So I do still stack silver. In fact, you know, what is it right now? Let's actually look this up quick. I do use Kitco for silver prices. I like Kitco, and you can use JM Bullion, APMEX, whatever you want to do. You can use Markets, Yahoo. Actually, let's just use Yahoo right now. So we're looking at, as of yesterday, silver's at $23.87, and I saw on APMEX. Now, APMEX is basically where I buy from. I don't quite trust other places, just because, you know, JM Bullion, what is there? Pan America Silver, Perth Mint, APMEX, Silvertown. You know, the typical brands of silver I stick to buying from those companies. Like APMEX, the prices are high. So when you go under silver, let's just go by bars and look at silver. So we're looking at let's do American Eagles if we can. So right now you're paying, you're paying for a new 2020 American Eagle $30, and that's not if you're using a credit card or PayPal. If you're using a credit card or PayPal, you're paying $32 an ounce basically for the American Eagle. That's a no-no unless you collect American Eagles. That's just ridiculous. Paying $32.46 for 1 ounce. So that's where junk silver comes in handy, because junk silver is coins. And coins are like your dimes, your war nickels, your quarters, half dollars, piece dollars. So let's see here. I'm curious. So for a roll of quarters, it's $2.49 over spot. You're paying almost $200 for a $10 face value. Normally they show it here. At least they used to. Okay, so you can get 7.15 ounces for $200, and before you were paying. So let's say you got 7 American Eagles at 7 ounces. 32. Let's just say $32. 32 times 7 is $224. So if you buy 7 ounces of American Eagles, you're going to pay $224. If you buy a little over 7 ounces of these silver Washington quarters, you're going to be paying $196. So minus 196, you're saving yourself almost $30. $30 by buying junk silver. And there's no difference other than, you know, the American Eagles are collectible. They claim they have, you know, government back by $1, but let's be all honest, when things hit the fan, the government probably is not going to honor that. Or if they honor the American Eagles, they're not going to give you what it's worth. Trust me on that one. So junk silver is one of the best ways to stack silver. And buying silver shot, if you can get silver shot for dirt cheap and melt it yourself into bars, that's another good way to stack silver. Now for me, when I was collecting and still collecting, I liked collecting. You know, I liked the different ones, so I did buy the more expensive ones like the Lenore series and so forth. So I did enjoy collecting. So I paid premiums for stuff like, you look over here, and most of the premium stuff, like this one, $80 for an ounce of silver. I mean, that's crazy. Wow, I actually had a lot of this stuff. Holy cow. So yeah, you know, you pay very high premiums for the collecting part of it, and to be honest, they look pretty, they're cool. If you do it for just collecting, awesome. But don't expect to get your $80 for your 1 ounce of silver when things hit the fan. In fact, get ready to pay junk price for your premium items unless there's some crazy collector out there trying to collect yours and you have one-of-a-kind silver coin. That's probably the only way you're going to get a good price. And you're not still, at the time, you're not going to get the best price that you think. Alright guys, thank you for watching. If you have a question on anything that I do in life, please leave a comment and I will do a video response.